It's the Brian Lehrer Show on WNYC. Good morning and happy day before Christmas again, everybody. It's an all-call-in show today. No politicians, no other newsmakers, no experts, no other guests. You are the experts. You are the guests. And for this next stretch, you are the culture critics. We're inviting you to call in now with your best or worst of 2025 in any genre of entertainment or the arts. 212-433 WNYC, 212-433-9692, call or text. Movies, TV shows, books, plays, musicals, art exhibits, podcasts, social media, influencer feeds, sports as entertainment, maybe the remaking of the Mets the last few weeks is your worst entertainment pick of 2025, you name it. Give us your favorite picks, give us your biggest pans. You can call or text 212-433 WNYC 212-433-9692. I will mostly leave the pans, the worst ofs, to you and just give a few examples of some bests that others have thrown some critical bouquets at to get your juices flowing as your calls start to come in. Let's see. Anyone remember when White Lotus and Severance were coming out at the same time? Last winter, it was kind of like the Barbenheimer of prestige TV. People have put it, all right, maybe not quite that level of cultural impact, but maybe they were two very talked about shows that people had a lot of opinions about in either direction. Did you like them? Why or why not? Some other arts news from the past year, there was a Man Ray exhibit at the Met. And on a very different side of the world of arts and culture, we saw the new Broadway musical Queen of Versailles, which premiered last month, starring Kristen Chenoweth. Paul Thomas Anderson made another epic film, almost 3 hours long, called One Battle After Another. You can give us your thoughts on that. These are just some examples. Can you sit through a 3-hour movie anymore, by the way, speaking of one battle after another, in this age of short attention spans? In fact, it's a whole other category, with movie theater attendance down and generally only the big blockbusters making money, from what I've been reading. Call in with a smaller release film pick that you actually went to a movie theater to see this year rather than just stream it, and you would like to tell everybody it was worth the trip, or still is if it's something that's still showing. What was worth the time and the effort and the overpriced popcorn? 212-433 WNYC 433-9692. We haven't even touched on new books. We had a New York Times book editor on last week to shout out their top 10, but I won't go through the list. But if you have any to recommend, please let us know. 212-433-9692. I'm also curious, another wrinkle, is there anything you loved that most people hated? Or maybe it was the opposite. Did you really dislike anything that the people around you and maybe the critics that you read really loved? It's always interesting to have really different opinions from the people you usually agree with, and you wonder, am I crazy or am I just seeing this better, hearing this better than other people? 212-433-9692. Some more live events from this past year. The principal ballerina at the New York City Ballet, Sarah Mearns, had a solo show in April where she also did contemporary dance. I know that made news. I recently read a pretty positive review in the New York Times of a Hamilton-like rap musical based on the diary of Anne Frank called Slam Frank, if you can believe it, if you didn't know about that. That had a popular off-Broadway run. Back in TV land, another show getting a lot of attention right now is Pluribus. Kind of a weird one, but without giving any spoilers, let us know what you think. Is it good weird or bad weird for you? How does it stack up in, I guess you'd call it the utopia, dystopia genre, if that's a fair way to label that. We haven't even mentioned music. Any picks or pans of things that came out this year? 212-433, WNYC 9692. There's just so much content these days on all kinds of platforms and all kinds of media. So we appreciate your help. Our listeners, your fellow listeners, will appreciate your help in picking through some of the options. So what are you going to remember from 2025 for reasons, good or bad? What should you read or listen to, or what should we steer clear of? Help your fellow listeners out. 212-433-WNYC. Call or text 212-433-9692. We'll take your picks and pans right after this.
New York City's ferry system carries over 70 million people a year. The subway, more than 1 billion. And the number of drivers? Forget about it. That's why you need On the Way, the weekly transit segment from Gothamist and WNYC. Each week, our reporters take a deep dive into how New Yorkers get around, or sometimes how we don't get around. On the Way, Thursdays on All Things Considered, or sign up for our weekly email at wnyc.org/newsletters.
WNYC is supported by Helen Keller International, working to help people who lack essential health and nutrition services due to recent funding cuts. More at helenkellerintl.org/WNYC. The New York Hall of Science, a hands-on science center and STEM learning lab welcoming New Yorkers of all ages since the 1964-65 World's Fair. More at nysci.org.
Quick program note, next Thursday, New Year's Day, WNYC will bring you live coverage of Mayor Zohran Mamdani's inauguration ceremony and inaugural address. I will be anchoring the coverage. We will set the scene, we'll carry the ceremony, and we'll get reactions to the speech from guests and from you on the phones and in our text feed. Inauguration coverage, New Year's Day, a little before 1, here on WNYC. Continue with our all-call-in show today. No experts, no politicians, no newsmakers, no guests. You are the guests. And for this stretch, you are the culture critics with your picks and pans of 2025 from the world of arts and entertainment. Entertainment broadly defined, even including sports. And Christina in Brooklyn, we see you there with an interesting sports pick. We'll get to you. But we're going to start with Ray on the Upper West Side. Hi, Ray. You're on WNYC.
Hey, what's going on? First time, long time. Definitely excited to be chatting with you today.
Glad you're on. What you got?
Yeah, so I wanted to shout out the Yola Tango Hanukkah shows as my favorite, event of the year. Not sure if those at home are familiar, but basically Yola Tango, wonderful indie rock band from New Jersey, and every year they rent out the Bowery Ballroom. It used to be Maxwell's in Hoboken, but they'll do 8 nights over the course of Hanukkah. And every night it's a completely surprise musical guest, a surprise comedian. They'll bring out folks for the encores who you wouldn't expect. This year we had acts like Norah Jones, which was super cool. We had Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles. And throughout all 8 nights, they don't repeat a single song. So it really is like a wonderful sort of, little community that comes out each year. So definitely really enjoyed that.
Unbelievable. I love Yola Tango. Did not know about those holiday shows in Hoboken, so thank you for shouting that out. Now to Christina in Brooklyn. Christina, you're on WNYC. Hey there.
Hi, good morning.
What you got? You got a pick.
I got a pick for the 2025 World Series between the Dodgers and the Blue Jays.
Because
it was an unexpected, incredible series. It went all 7 games. It went extra innings. There was a double game, essentially, early on in the series. I don't think anybody expected it to go that way. And it was just a really fun watch. And I don't have a particular investment in either of those teams, but I watched every single game to the bitter end, and it was awesome.
Yeah, the double game, that's the one. I guess it went 18 innings, right? That's what made it a double game.
Yeah.
I had the same experience. I was like, when the Yankees got eliminated, I was like, okay, yeah, Dodgers and Blue Jays. But I started to watch, and they were just such good games that I got into it. Did you find yourself rooting for anybody by the end, even though you went into it without a team?
I was pulling for the Blue Jays for sure. Not only because I'm a Yankees fan, but they haven't won in a really long time, and I was rooting for them to pull it off. And it was a little anticlimactic when the Dodgers won in Toronto. I was watching with my daughter until the wee hours of the night, and it was kind of like, oh, that's it. It's over.
Dodgers again, and now they have Edwin Diaz. Christina, thank you very much. Poor Mets. Ross in Plainsboro, you're on WNYC. Hi, Ross.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. You got a pick too, huh?
Yes, I do. I saw an early screening of the South Korean film No Other Choice from filmmaker Park Chan-wook, and it blew me away.
Describe it.
So it's about this guy who's like a family man, and he has a good job at a paper company, but the paper company is merged with bought up and merged with American company. So 20% of the workforce is laid off, including him, and he can only think to get a job at a new paper company, and he's having trouble doing that. And so he figures out a plot to find like the top 3 candidates of the pool of like his former coworkers, and he like schemes to like kill them so that way he can get a shot at a new job.
Huh. Really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Without giving away the ending, interesting description of the premise. Ross, thank you very much. The Korean film No Other Choice. Here's a pan coming in a text, says, disliked the raved about Little Bear Ridge Road, casting strange performances, either too broad or just weird, good subject and some good writing, but play too academic and wrapped up too neatly for me. I remained unconvinced and unmoved by the characters. On the plus side, raves for me include the revival's ragtime and art. Both are fabulous. Cleo in Manhattan, you're on WNYC. Hi, Cleo.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, I want to give a shout out for an advanced screening of a film called The Nutcracker at Wethersfield. It is an amazing documentary about New York City ballet dancers who got together and put on the Nutcracker at the Wethersfield estate during COVID. And I saw it at a fantastic place, New Plaza Cinemas, where a lot of independent and foreign films are being shown. Highlight of my year.
Nice. Thank you for that pick. Here's another pick, another movie from Maxine in Manhattan. You're on WNYC. Hi, Maxine.
Good morning, Brian. I want to speak to you about Bao, Artists at War. It's a story about Joseph and Rebecca Bao. That's the couple that were portrayed in Schindler's List, in The Wedding in Schindler's List. And this film follows them from the camps through life and into the 1970s when Bao testified against the Nazis who murdered his father. It's a fantastic jump between 1970 and 1941-42, when the couple was interned in Plesko and when they found one another. They lived a life of 48 years of marriage in Ramat Gan. Bao became the senior graphic artist for the Mossad and did paperwork for people like removing Eichmann from Argentina and getting Eli Cohen into Syria. It's a phenomenal story. And both of their daughters, Hadassah and Slila, will be at 3 premieres in Israel, in Haifa, Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem next week. And if anybody's in Israel, it's going to be a phenomenal experience.
Maxine,
the film
thank you for sharing.
It's a full-length film, and by the way, it'll be on Netflix in January.
Bao, Artists at War. Do I have the title right?
Bao, B-A-U, Artists at War, and there are trailers online. Sean McNamara is the producer, and he just won an award from the Catholic the Catholic Cultural Association congratulated him with its first prize this year. So you have a movie that was made by a Catholic director and funded by an evangelical Christian, and is the story of 2 survivors who were just major powers in mid-century Israel. Very important to the whole history of the state. So pick it up on Netflix, and it's a Paramount picture, and it's going to be quite the experience. You will laugh and you will cry. The humor is amazing. It's the power of love and the power of humor in the worst of circumstances. And you'll dance.
Maxine, thank you very much for dancing with us. Linda in Queens is going to thank my colleague Allison Stewart for some of her picks of this year. Right, Linda? Hi, you're on WNYC again.
Hi, how are you? Yes, indeed. I totally love Allison's Summer Reading Challenge. I have actually been part of the book club since it started in way back around COVID time. And for me, one of the best parts of the summer was the Summer Reading Challenge. You got to pick from a number of categories, and this kind of forced me to go back and read some books that I have been meaning to get to. One of the categories was read a classic you have been meaning to get to, and for me, that was The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. And I found it topical because this was his 100th year anniversary, so I really wanted to get to that one.
Linda, thank you so much. Yeah, we did a segment on 100 years of James Baldwin in our 100 Years of 100 Things series on this show. Glad Allison had it on her list of summer reads, and glad it inspired you. All right, we've been doing some picks. Here are a couple of pans. Tracy on Staten Island, you're on WNYC. Hi, Tracy.
Hello. Oh, my goodness. So I heard about the Deanne Arbus exhibit at the Armory, also on Allison Stewart's show, when she had the curator on, and they were talking about how intricately it was designed. And my husband and I went to see it, and we hated it. It was so weird. And, you know, I'm an art history major. I loved the exhibit at the Guggenheim, and this was so awful. The whole back wall was a mirror, so like you thought you were getting twice as much as you did. My husband and I would just catch each other's eyes as we were walking through, and we just would laugh, and we just couldn't stand it. So
was
sorry,
it the presentation and not the Diane Arbus photos themselves?
It was the presentation, and it was also, I've decided that a little Deanne Arbus goes a long, long way.
Her thing was, you know, to find the kinds of people who are maybe marginal in society, who don't get portrait photographs of them taken very much. Right?
Yeah, and I think some of them didn't necessarily need the portraits. I'm so sorry.
Tracy, thank you very much. Here's another pan of maybe a TV show that didn't age well, as I guess that caller thought some of the old Diana Arbus photos didn't age well. Tony in Corona, you're on WNYC. Hi, Tony.
Hey, Brian, big fan. You know, my girlfriend, my fiance, Julie, used to love this show, Rave, what was that? Either way. Damn it, I forgot the name of the show.
Oh, everyone.
I never even watched it.
Everybody
loves Raymond.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that's nothing but misogynistic way of showing how men treat women. Raymond, everybody loves Raymond. You know what? I hate Raymond. I think he's a bit of a jerk. You know, he always does the wrong thing. He treats his kids wrong. He treats his family wrong. And there are even some racist situations in that whole thing.
Tony, thank you very much. You know, I never watched Everybody Loves Raymond, so I kind of, you know, I know it was a big show, but I don't have a basis on which to agree or disagree with the caller, but he's probably started a controversy there if anybody wants to pick it up. We're not going to take a lot of calls on plus or minus Everybody Loves Raymond, but maybe you want to text in and see if Tony's take is mainstream or or on the fringe. But there we go, a big pan for Everybody Loves Raymond. Here's a pan. Wicked for Good. You know, Wicked for Good, the sequel that came out after Wicked, right, with Ariana Grande as Glinda the Good Witch. Wicked for Good is one of the worst films I've ever seen. Not much more than a special effects fest, shockingly bad. Oh, we're on a run of pans here. Marcia in New Paltz, you're on WNYC. Hi, Marcia.
Hi, Brian. What an honor to be speaking with you.
And vice versa. What you got?
So this fall, I went to see the Bruce Springsteen movie, and he is my favorite forever rock star. I was so disappointed because I thought they showed so little of his career. It was really based on the Nebraska album.
Right.
But I went there with this excitement that I was going to watch his whole life and career. So that was disappointing. But I still believe that watching the movie in the theater is nothing like it.
Yeah.
So
it's funny about it. It gives me a thought. What you said about going to see the Springsteen movie gives me a thought about reading reviews before or after you see something. I know people who will only read a review after they see the thing because they want to form their own impression. But I tend to fall into the camp of reading reviews as long as I think there's not going to be a total spoiler before, so I get some sense of what the filmmaker or whatever the genre is, what they're going for, and sometimes I appreciate it more because of that. And I wonder if having known that it was about the making of Nebraska and not sort of his whole life and career, if that might have helped you appreciate it. I don't know, just a thought.
Maybe. I mean, I just get all excited about anything Bruce Springsteen. I have never seen him in person, in concert. So anything that I can get, I just go at it. And so, but for other movies, I do read reviews. I didn't for this one because I just, Bruce Springsteen, I'm going to go see it, and it's going to be great.
Marcia, thank you very much. I will say that the text messages are flowing in support of Tony and Corona when it comes to Everybody Loves Raymond. Listener writes, yes, the women on Everybody Loves Raymond are shown as nags. Somebody else, Tony is right, Raymond is a bore. Here's a funny pan. You ready for this one? Peanut butter. Listener writes, I finally tried it after my doctor told me I no longer had the lifetime peanut allergy. It was meh. People rave about it like it's caramel. Peanut butter is no caramel. There's a text I never thought we would get. Oh, here's JC in Washington Heights, who I think deservedly enough is going to give himself or herself, I don't know who JC is, a pick. JC, you're on WNYC. Hello.
Hi, Brian. It's so nice to be on your show. We had an amazing experience with my show. It's called Detonation Rat Cabaret at Theater for the New City. We had a great run in October. It created a little buzz. We were selling out. People called it, the respite for the times, and it was lots of word of mouth in an East Village show, which meant a lot to me and to our cast. It's 12 people, and really great music that we wrote, spanning hip hop and chanson, and Bowie and tango and punk. It's a really crazy show about rats and rat mitigation in New York, with the Rat Czar having a wonderful reggae things. Yes.
And there's an objective measure of that it can be a pick, because I see it's getting picked up again to run again starting next month, correct?
Yes, it is. We're all really thrilled and excited about it. January 8th, through 25th, we're running again at Theater for the New City, and it's been just such a joy and a wonder to get this going and to see the response that it's been getting. So I just wanted to shout out, let people know that good theater can be done with really nothing. So we're scrambling, but it's all worthwhile.
Get Nation Rat Cabaret, JC. Congratulations. I think I'm glad you had enough non-humility to call in and pick the show you wrote as your pick. One more. Lisa in Brooklyn. You're on WNYC. Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Thank you so much for letting me through. I wanted to nominate Slam Frank, a musical based on a viral tweet about Anne Frank not realizing her white privilege, and it's in Gramercy, and it's only running for a few days, and it is, for some people, the most offensive thing they've ever seen, and for others, a great piece of art that shows what can happen when nothing is sacred or forbidden to speak.
Lisa, thank you very much. And that concludes our call-in with your picks and pans from the worlds of arts and entertainment, and even the 2025 World Series, as we continue with this all call-in show on the Brian Lehrer Show today.